Right into it as we talk about moments in current affairs and, well, let's catch up on the latest. Let's head off to the war happening between Russia and the Ukraine. The first delivery of heavy weapons promised by the German government have arrived in the Ukraine. Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov said yesterday. This arrival comes after the repeated appeal from Kiev for better weapons and ammunition as it seeks to hold off Russia's military offensive in the eastern Ukraine. Now, self-propelled howitzers and the Panzerhaubitze 2000s are the first heavy weapons sent by Germany to arrive in the Ukraine. In May, Berlin pledged to send 7 of the artillery systems, adding 5 howitzers promised by the Netherlands. The Panzerhaubitze 2000 are some of the most powerful artillery weapons in the German military stock. The howitzers can hit a single target located up to 40 kilometers away. Reznikov praised his German counterpart Christine Lambrecht and the Dutch Defense Minister Kajsa Ollongren for the shipments. Panzer 2000s are finally part of the 155mm howitzer arsenal of the Ukraine artillery. He called the delivery an example of international cooperation in support of the Ukraine. As the self-propelled howitzers arrived in the Ukraine, the German government published its first full list showing both equipment it had said sent to the Ukraine and pledged that there were more being arranged. Closer to home, Mamkhize praised after donating homes to KZN flood victims. Popular businesswoman Sean Mkhize received the nod of appreciation after contributing to those harshly affected by the floods. Mamkhize demonstrated a humanitarian helping hand by building and donating homes to affected families in Waibank in KZN. Touching down on the flood-wrecked community, the Royal AM boss spoke candidly about the magnitude of giving back to those in need, revealing that she was once without a home after her household was gutted by fire. The handover was also attended by eThekwini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda and his deputy Philani Mavundla, who also handed over some beneficiaries. Mamkhize further detailed that they used alternative technology to fast-track the process and have houses delivered to their owners immediately. The businesswoman turned her social accounts to share how delighted she was to lend a hand where it was needed. She further sent her gratitude to eThekwini municipality for reaching out and ensuring that other basic needs such as water and electricity were provided. Mkhize was elated to introduce the alternative technology to KZN and point out that if people can come together, a difference can be made. According to RUSA, or Reaction Unit SA, spokesperson Prem Balram, a man found his brother hanging from a rafter in his house in Zwelisha, KwaZulu-Natal, yesterday. The 34-year-old man discovered his brother hanging in his informal home in Zwelisha. Balram said to his brother they were consuming alcohol together on Monday night. His brother left after informing him that he needed to sleep. This morning he went to wake his sibling, however did not get a response. He forcefully gained entry into the house and made the gruesome discovery. He furthermore said circumstances leading up to the suicide cannot be confirmed. Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu repeated her January attack on the judiciary and the constitution in a Spitfire speech at UNISA on Tuesday. She said, and I quote, "The judiciary is not untouchable and South African constitution is not a holy script." She said that a speech, Sisulu also denied that she had apologized to President Cyril Ramaphosa for an opinion article in January in which she equated members of the judiciary to mentally colonized House N-words and African American term for sellouts. She said evidence suggests the judiciary may be in cahoots with the elite whites or in the elite against the very people that it should be defending. The problem with the judiciary is it hasn't been about the fray where it should have been. Elite against every people. That's what she wrote. Pretoria police have arrested 3 suspects between 22 years old and 36 years old for robbery and murder which took place in Sekururu village outside Maake. The suspects have been found on the run May after they allegedly accosted a 57-year-old man, robbed him of his licensed firearm, and then used it to shoot him. Police opened a case of robbery and attempted murder, and they started with the investigations. The deceased later succumbed to his injuries, and the case was consequently changed to murder. He was identified as Lipunu Godfrey Muhlala of Madeira Village, Mojapilo said. Provincial Commissioner of Police in Limpopo, Lieutenant General Thembi Hadebe, has lauded the hard work that the dedication of the officers which led to the arrest of the suspects. Police said suspects are scheduled to appear before the Linyelane Court, Magistrates Court, facing charges of robbery, murder, and unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. 28 minutes now before 10 o'clock. The African National Congress in Tshwane is Gauteng's first region to come out expressing dissatisfaction with the continuous step-aside resolution, or the contentious step-aside resolution in its current form. It said the party must reconsider how the rule is implemented, aiming to assist and renew the organization. Tshwane wants the weekend's provincial conference to be also deliberate on the issue, with an aim of shaping how the party approaches it at both its upcoming policy and national conferences. The step-aside rule is currently being applied to those facing corruption and serious criminal charges. The step-aside resolution has hampered the political careers of several leaders in the ANC. Corruption-accused Secretary Ace Magashule, Limpopo's powerful VBS accused Danim Caesar, murder-accused Mandla Msibi, and eThekwini's Zandile Gumede, who also faces corruption charges, are all on the outside looking in due to this contentious rule. Around the entertainment scene, after remaining mum when her name was the subject of talk, DJ Zinhle has come to make it clear that despite the noise and pool of opinions, she will still have two baby daddies. This happens a few days after her Father's Day post to the famous rapper AKA. Her actions to appreciate the father of her daughter Cairo evoked a hot controversy on the socials, with many questioning the necessity for the post, the fella in Versace star, while in relationship with Black Motion's Murder Bongs. The Umlilo hitmaker has since claimed a burning spot on the trends, causing a divide among those who were defending her and those firing shots for the post. Today she asked those who sided with her amid the debacle to rest, because regardless of the criticism, she will still have two baby daddies. And finally, and further afield in this troubled yet beautiful continent of Africa, a group of Malians destroyed in the central city of Bankas on Tuesday demonstrated in the city of Bankas on Tuesday to demand state protection after more than 130 civilians were killed by jihadists in neighboring villages. Crazy what is actually happening in some places. Mali suffered one of its worst civilian killings over the weekend, the latest in an ongoing series across Sahel. According to the government, 132 were killed by men from the Katiba Matsina, the group of Fulani preacher Amadou Kouafa, and Diala Gassou, and two surrounding localities. A few dozen kilometers from Bankas, the head of the junta, Colonel Assimi Goita, declared 3 days of mourning. The political class in Bamako unanimously expressed their compassion while rallying once again around the armored forces. However, Keida Diachange, a group of dozen parties, are rare critical vocal and asked Colonel Goita to the scene and to appeal to the responsibility of the authorities to take the necessary measures so that such tragedies do not happen again. Which is a fair request in all honesty, because really, who needs all of this bloodshed? We need unity.